Hi everyone. Today's Tip Tuesday, I want to talk to you about the purpose of a final walkthrough. So if this is your first time buying a home, what you may not know is that a couple days before closing, we're going to schedule a final walkthrough. And the reason behind this is we want to make sure that the home is in the same condition as it was when you put the offer on. So a final walkthrough is not an opportunity to go through and say, oh my gosh, you know what? I really don't like this paint color, or these windows are old. I don't think I want to buy this house. Not at all what the final walkthrough is for. Final walkthrough is simply to ensure that the home is in the exact same condition as it was when you put the offer in on the home and it was accepted. Another reason to do a final walkthrough is that if any items were found during the home inspection that had been mutually agreed upon to be taken care of by the seller, we want to make sure that those items have been done. So that means that we need to have receipts out so that we know it's been taken care of by a professional. And typically we try to get those receipts before the final walkthrough, but sometimes sellers will leave them out at the time of the final walkthrough to look at. If there's anything that you want to have re-inspected or make sure is done to your approval, then you can certainly have a contractor come through during that final walkthrough time to make sure that it's been done to your satisfaction. I normally recommend, though, if it is a concern, that we do that prior to our final walkthrough. Keep in mind, this is being done sometimes a day before or the morning of closing, and we don't want to have to deal with having to take care of that problem that close to closing. So that's usually done before that, but it can also be done at the time of the final walkthrough. To give you an example of some things that have been found at a final walkthrough that we were very happy we did, I had a client once that we went to the final walkthrough and noticed that all of the light fixtures were gone. Well, per the purchase agreement, any light fixtures or things attached to the home are considered part of the real property that we're putting the offer in on that has been agreed upon. So to go through our final walkthrough and find that the light fixtures were gone, not okay at all. So you better believe I was on the phone talking to the seller's agents, figuring out a plan and a solution to make it happen so that we got light fixtures back in the home. And let me tell you, it's a lot easier to get a seller to take care of a problem at final walkthrough before you've closed than after you've closed. So that's just one example of why a walkthrough is important. Another quick example of an instance that actually turned out pretty disastrous. We did our final walkthrough the day before closing, and unfortunately there had been incredibly heavy rains the night before. Sellers did let us know that they had a little bit of water. We did our final walkthrough, and it was not a little bit of water. It was a lot of water. And by seeing all of that water that came in, it led us to pull back insulation to see that there was a lot of mold lurking in the basement. So because the property was not in the same condition as it was when we had put the offer in, my buyers ultimately did decide that this was not a purchase they were going to be moving forward on. And we did walk away the day before closing. Obviously, that is a rare instance, and it was an extreme instance. But it does help you understand the importance of getting a final walkthrough done, because you don't want to have to deal with that. And of course, nobody wants to walk away before they're supposed to close on their home. Your bags are packed, your truck is loaded. But this was a pretty extreme case, and unfortunately we could not come to a resolution, and they did end up getting their earnest money back. And it's really, really not great for sellers or buyers at all. But at the end of the day, this is your biggest investment, and we need to make sure that it's protected. And that's why we will always do a final walkthrough. So keep in mind, most of the time, 95% of the time, we do a final walkthrough. Everybody wants the same thing. Sellers, take good care of your home from the time the offer is accepted until the time of closing. And as long as everything's the same as it was, then there won't be any problems. As always, let me know if you guys have any questions. Always here to help.